Hey sis, is your period late, but the pregnancy test you took came back negative? Yeah, so frustrating. I've been there. And I know many of you have been there too. It's like you set everything up perfectly, you take the supplements, you baby dance at the right time, you're in your fertile window, and you would go through that dreaded 2-week wait, only to be left devastated when that test comes back negative. In this episode, we're going to dive into all of the reasons why that period could be late. Keep listening. All right, let's dive in. This week, a trying to conceive sister reached out to me because she has been struggling to conceive. You see, what happened this cycle, everything lined up perfectly. She baby danced in the right time. She knew her fertile window. She had a nice, strong ovulation. She did everything perfectly during the 2-week wait. But that test, when she finally took that pregnancy test, it still came back negative. She asked me, what am I doing wrong? Why didn't it work? It should have worked this time. But your period is still late. Let me know in the comments, can you relate to her story? Has this ever happened to you where all of the tests come back negative? It's almost like the universe is playing some horrible joke on you. They tell you that a missed period is a confirmed sign of pregnancy, but she is trying to get pregnant and it's not happening. It's negative test after negative test after negative test. She switched from the pink dye test to the blue dye test. She switched to a digital test and everything came back negative. She asked me through tears, can I actually be pregnant and the test is wrong? Or is it a true negative? Well, sis, I am here to answer that very question. You see, the research says that 10 to 25% of home pregnancy tests are incorrect. That means you'll either get a false positive or a false negative. 10 to 25% of cases. That's not very many. And the reasons why you may get a false negative is you've taken the test way too early and your HCG hasn't had enough time to double. Although it could be a faulty test, it's actually very rare for that to happen. And last but not least, it could be that you're reading the test a little bit too soon and you're not following the instructions exactly how they are laid out in the package. So what do you do if you suspect it's a false negative? If it's a false negative, you want to visit the doctor to get blood work done so we can get an accurate measure of the HCG in your bloodstream. This will tell you without a doubt if you're pregnant or not. But if you're anything like my client who knows they tested correctly, they took their first morning urine, the test isn't expired, then why am I still getting a negative? I hate to say it, if you're still getting a negative and everything lines up, then it's most likely negative. However, why is your period late is the better question. So why is my period late? Well, there are a number of factors that can affect your period. Things like travel, diet change, exercise, lack of sleep. So many different things can affect your period showing up on time. I wish this was something that was taught to me when I was in school, but it wasn't. So what can I do? Well, this is when really charting and understanding your menstrual cycle comes into play. And when I say charting your cycle, we're not just writing down your LH peaks, your cervical mucus, and your BBT. This is when we're looking at everything that is happening in our net lifestyle and really trying to nail and pinpoint exactly what is impacting our cycle. Some people get pregnant really easily. That's not our story right now. It doesn't mean it can't happen for us, but it does mean we need to do a little bit more work to make our baby dreams come true. So what do? I believe that you should chart your cycle, but you should also journal what is going on in your life so that you always have a resource to go back to see if things have changed. When this warrior went back into her fertility journal, there was a few things that she noticed. This particular cycle, she was super stressed at work. She wasn't eating as much, and she tried to decrease her stress by increasing her runs. She made 3 major adjustments to her lifestyle that had an impact on her cycle. When you're on a trying to conceive journey, getting pregnant is a needle in a haystack. And when you've been struggling to conceive, there's just a lot more hay on top. So this means that we need to find and pull at different strings to find that needle. So we know that this young lady, we know her period is late. We know it's a negative. So now we look at that fertility journal and we start digging through so that we can line things up for next time. It's all about the data and the research and the understanding. So when you don't have the data, sis, you can be left wondering and stressing and trying to figure out why that period's late, why you're not bringing your baby home, and why that pregnancy test is still negative. You see, for a lot of my journey, I was led to believe that I wasn't in control of a lot of it. I was led to believe that IVF and IUI were the only ways I was going to get pregnant. But that's not true. That's not true for everybody. You have the power to make this happen. You just need to put your scientist hat on and start digging into that cycle. I know you got this. If you don't want to put your scientist hat on, no problem. No problem. You just want to chart your cycle, you just want to do LH sticks, you just want to do BBT, no problem. You don't want to do any of that and just follow the information you're getting in the app, no problem. But you see, what could happen is you can stay on this journey way longer than you need to be. Way longer. You see, I was on the journey for 4.5 years, and that's way longer than I needed to be because I didn't know these things. I didn't know that you could be in control of your journey. I didn't know that every part of my lifestyle really affected my reproductive health. There was times when I was changing my diet and exercising till I was blue in the face, thinking I was helping my body get healthy, when really I was blocking my blessing. So what do? Where do you go from here? Well, my suggestion is going to be to start a fertility journal along with tracking, where you're just writing down the things that are happening in your life. Therefore, we have a resource to go back to in order to dive in and dig into why your cycle may be late. You see, your body is always telling you something, and we just need to start listening. So let me know in the comments, what have you learned about your cycle that could be affecting it and causing it to be late? I'm Fertility Coach Sophie. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.